We'll start our next problem, that is SJF preemptive. So you can just see the question. Consider the following 4 processes with the length of the CPU bus given in a milliseconds. Find out average waiting time. So you can just see he has given a process, that is a P1, P2, P3, P4. Arrival time he has given 0, 1, 2, 3. Burst time he has given. We need to find out the HAF and we need to perform preemptive scheduling. Means we need to switch the process. Okay, while execution we need to switch the process. Okay, let us see how to go with this problem. In this SGF preemptive scheduling, we need to consider arrival time while scheduling. Wherever you are going to preempt the process, you need to consider with respect to the arrival time. Let us see how to schedule this one. See, as usual, the CPU execution will start from the 0 milliseconds. So, in the 0 milliseconds, we have only one process, that is a process P1. I told you in the previous video, SGF is going to schedule the process based on the current arrival time and the at particular current arrival time which process is having least burst time, that will be scheduled. Okay, at 0 milliseconds we have only one process, that is process P1. I am going to schedule that process as a least burst time process, because CPUs don't means it doesn't know P2 is coming next, which is having very least burst time. CPU will not be knowing about this one. We are looking at the tabulum form, that's why we are knowing that this 4 is having a least burst time, but CPU will not be knowing this one. So that is why at that particular point of time, 0 milliseconds, CPU is going to assume this is the process P1 which is arriving at 0 millisecond and it is having the least burst time. Okay, so since it is a preemptive scheduling, after 1 millisecond you need to halt the execution. But this was not followed in a non-preemptive scheduling. So in non-preemptive scheduling, what I was doing, when the process enters to execution, throughout the completion of that process, means up to 8 millisecond burst cycle, I am going to execute that process P1 only. But now in the preemptive, for each and every milliseconds you need to preempt it and check it for the next arrival of the process. Okay, we'll see. So process P1, it stopped the execution at 1 millisecond and it is checking whether any process coming or not coming. Okay, so we'll see at 1 millisecond you have some process, that is process P2. Okay, so process P2 is coming and is having the burst time of 4 millisecond. Okay, so you already have the process P1 in a CPU execution. So he is having how many millisecond? 8 millisecond, and already he has executed 1 millisecond. So minus 1. Okay, 7. Now which process is coming? Process P2. He is having how many milliseconds? 4 milliseconds. Now compare who is having least burst time at 1 millisecond. In the 0 millisecond you had only one process. I don't have any option, only selecting a process P1 was the left out option. But now at 1 millisecond you have two process P1 and P2, and P1 is having the burst time of 7, 8 minus 1, because 1 minus already 1 millisecond executed, so 7 millisecond. Now process P2 is having 4 millisecond, so you need to compare with the 7 millisecond and 4 millisecond. So who is having very least now? So that is process P2. Okay, soon after completion of process P2 for about 1 millisecond, so you need to check again after completing 1 millisecond. So 1 and it will be updated to 2 millisecond. At 2 millisecond you need to observe if any other process coming or not. So just look at the chart. Process P3 is coming at 2 millisecond and he is having burst time of how much? 9. And update this one, process P2, he got a chance for 1 millisecond, so you less that one, minus 1, that is 3. And who is coming now? Process P3 is coming and he is having how many milliseconds? 9. Now at P2 point of time, you have three processes in an execution cycle: process P1, process P2, and process P3. Process P1 already it was altered, that is it is having 7 milliseconds. Process P2, so it is also altered, so it is having 3 milliseconds because 1 millisecond is executed. And now we have P3 also. So compare these three: 7, 3, 9. Who is having least burst time? That is process P2. So then allow P2 only. Okay, and E executed for 1 more milliseconds, that is up to 3 milliseconds. Again he checked if any other process is coming or not coming. So look at the tabular form. At 3 millisecond also you have one more process, that is a process P4, and he is having the burst time of 5. And before that, update this process P2, he executed for 1 more milliseconds. So now left out is 2 more milliseconds. Now at 3 millisecond time interval, you have one more process added to a queue, that is process P4 with the burst time 5 milliseconds. Now whom I need to schedule? So compare with 7, 2, 9 and 5. Who is having very least burst time? That is process P2. And so here after 3 milliseconds, no other process in the tabular form. So there is no computation. Then directly schedule the process P2 for another 2 milliseconds. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, why I did like this? Because there is no other process at 4 milliseconds to alt the process P2. So this was the least burst time process. So I directly scheduled at 3 milliseconds. Though means it was left with the 2 milliseconds. So directly I scheduled, that is 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so now process P2 completed. Now remaining process are P1 process, P3 process and P4 process, which is having the least burst time among this, that is process P4, right? That is 5 plus 5, how much? 10 millisecond. And next, that is P4 directly computed. Okay, next least time is process P1. Actually he came first, he executed for only 1 millisecond. P2 came and he preempted P1. Okay, so now he is getting the chance again. Okay, so now the process P1 enters and he execute fully. So that is 7 milliseconds. 10 plus 7 is 17. P1 also completed. And the last one remaining is, that is process P3. 17 plus 9 is how much? That is 26. Though Gantt chart is completed. Okay, so means you need to schedule the process based on the arrival time. Soon after the completion of the arrival time, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, you stop looking at the chart and directly schedule the remaining process which is left out to complete. Okay, so now coming to the chart, that is a tabular form. By looking at the Gantt chart, you write the completion times. Okay, so process P1 completed at how many milliseconds? Here process P1 arrived once in here and another time here. Okay, so you need to take last time completion. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 complete ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 17 complete ಆಗಿದೆ. 17 complete ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಲಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ P2 completion. Process P2 3 times we have given slot. Last slot you need to take, that is 5. Process P3, so that is 26. Process P4, that is 10. Okay, find out the TAT, that is applying CT minus AT. You are going to get 17, 4, 24 and 7. Then apply the waiting time formula, that is TAT minus BT. Okay, so you are going to get 9, 0, 15 and 2. Okay, so as usual P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4 divided by 4. So you are going to write 9 plus 0 plus 15 plus 2 divided by 4. You are going to get 6.5 milliseconds. That is the preemptive scheduling problem. Okay, it's a bit confusing, but it is very easy. You need to understand it properly. Okay, Gantt chart drawing is important. Okay, so I'll stop here.